All right, meantime, here in New York City, Mayor Zoran Mamdani is ramping up his radical rhetoric after border czar Tom Homan suggested deploying more ICE agents.
These kinds of threats, as you've said, from Tom Homan and the federal administration, they're not new, and neither will our response be. We continue to be proud of being a sanctuary city. We continue to be ready to stand up for our immigrant neighbors, and we continue to be ready to use every single tool at our disposal. And I've said to the president directly that I believe that ICE raids are cruel and they do nothing to serve in the interests of public safety. And I do believe it's a rogue agency that should be abolished because we need an approach to immigration in this country that has more humanity at the heart of it.
Former acting ICE director and DHS Deputy Assistant Secretary Jonathan Fahey joins me now. Jonathan, thank you for joining us this morning. You know, we've heard the mayor say things like this before. He's doubling down once again. So let's live in a world for a moment where he gets his wish and ICE is abolished in cities and states across the country. What would that actually look like in practice? Would we live in a more humane society as the way the mayor is predicting?
We would live in a society that is significantly less safe. Places like New York would be utterly bankrupt because, remember, under the Biden administration with the open borders policies that only were 4 years, New York City was going broke. Mayor Adams was asking for $12 billion from the federal government to pay for all the services that illegal aliens were costing the city. And that was just on a short period of time. So if you actually got rid of ICE, we would see murder skyrocket. We'd see crime skyrocket. We would all be poorer, less safe, and it would be a devastating effect because you cannot have ICE and the border go hand in hand. If you stop enforcing internal immigration laws, the border will be overrun again because part of the deterrence is the fact that people, once they get in here, aren't getting to stay anymore, which we didn't have under sort of the open border Biden policy. So it's a complete joke because he says this under the umbrella of protection that Donald Trump is providing New York by shutting the border and deporting the bad guys. And remember, since Trump took office, crime in New York has dropped dramatically, and a lot of it is because he's getting rid of the bad guys that were allowed to stay during the previous administration. It's a total joke under Mamdani's side. He knows it is, but it's completely self-serving today for him and today's Democratic Party.
You know, Jonathan, I think that some of the things Mayor Mamdani said in that little soundbite we played bear repeating. One of them is we continue to be ready to stand up for our immigrant neighbors. He also said, I believe that ICE raids are cruel and they do nothing to serve the interest of public safety. I wonder what he would say to the parents of Sheridan Gorman in his desire to not turn over illegal immigrants to federal law enforcement when their daughter was allegedly killed by an illegal immigrant with a criminal record. Maybe there's nothing you can say to a family like that, and that's the point. That's part of the story. When you talk about cruel and inhumane, don't those families matter?
Right, exactly. And our politicians here are supposed to be representing American citizens, not illegal aliens. And you go back, you have Sheridan Gorman in Chicago, but you also have Laken Riley in Georgia. And remember, her killer was arrested in New York City, released under their sanctuary policies, albeit the DHS under Mayorkas wasn't even trying to arrest him. But it just shows there's the cruelty and your responsibility as a mayor, as an elected official in America is to defend American citizens. And there's such an indifference. It's cruelty and just indifference to American suffering because, you know, you see it every day. And when Donald Trump is trying to enforce the immigration laws, he's making us safer. And the Democrats stand in the way every step of the way when he's simply trying to enforce the laws passed by Congress.
This back and forth isn't going anywhere. It continues into today. Jonathan, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate it.